Welcome into Outkick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope wherever you may find yourself across this great land or across this great world that you are having a spectacular Monday. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the show. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me here. We got a lot to get to. I am telling you right now, the New England Patriots are dead. And I understand that some of you out there are all triggered and you're like, oh, the Patriots are never going to die. The Patriots are going to be great forever. All dynasties die, and the Patriots dynasty is dead. I put it up as a poll question, and I'm going to make the case for why the dynasty is dead. But first, I want to hear and share with you guys what the story was about the New England Patriot dynasty. All right? I asked the question this morning, do you believe that the Patriot dynasty is dead? Simple, straightforward. 26,000 of you voted this morning. 54% of you agree with me that the New England Patriot dynasty is officially dead. 46% of you say no. Let me make the case now for why the New England Patriot dynasty is officially dead. Let's begin here. Tom Brady is 41 years old. The mind oftentimes will follow the body down a dark corridor as you get older and can't quite make your body do what you wanted it to do before. To wit, the last two games, two incredible mental errors by Tom Brady that suggest he's pressing because he knows his team is not very good and that he knows the possibility of them winning another championship slowly, like sand through an hourglass, it's running out. Into the first half against the Miami Dolphins. I'm sitting and watching, many of you are sitting and watching Tom Brady and the New England Patriots have a first and goal against the Dolphins. No timeouts left. Brady drops back to pass. Inexplicably, he gets sacked. The clock runs out. They go into the half only up 27-21. If he throws the ball away, if he gets out of the pocket, if he just makes an intelligent football play, Patriots kick a field goal there. They are up 9. We never, ever get to the end of the game situation where they score on the Miami Miracle. That, to me, was a wow moment. Tom Brady making an awful rookie mistake as a quarterback. Fast forward to the game against the Steelers yesterday. The only touchdown the Patriots score in the entire game is a busted coverage, Chris Hogan wide open, 60-plus yard touchdown pass. Late in the game, and the Steelers did not play that well in that game. Boswell can't make a field goal at all. Shanks one off to the side on the right when he could have gone up double digits. Roethlisberger throws two bad interceptions. Patriots are driving. They are down 17 to 17. What is it? Sorry, at the time it's 14-10. Tom Brady is dropping back to pass in a goal situation, and rather than just throw the ball away, he floats it down the right sideline, trying to let Rob Gronkowski make a play. Ball gets picked off by Joe Hayden, and effectively that is the end of the game. Also, drop back to pass, the throw down the center of the play. Of the goal line late in that game, double misses, sailing the ball out of bounds. I don't know what he was thinking. I think he was thinking that Rob Gronkowski was going to be able to elevate and make a play on the ball, Dwight Clark, Joe Montana style. Rob Gronkowski is done as well at tight end. As a result, they can't integrate in Josh Gordon. He's not fitting. All of the desperate plays by the New England Patriots are not making sense. Now, let me go ahead and hit you with some stats that are going to make your eyes open wide here. The Patriots have had a first-round bye in every season of the Tom Brady era in which they advanced to the title game. They're 0 for 3 at reaching even the AFC Championship game when they're entering a playoff without a first-round bye. This is the most losses by New England in a season. They've got 5 right now since 2009. They went 10-6 and lost in the wild card round that year. They've lost 3 of their last 5, averaging less than 21 points per game in those losses. They are now 1-2 in December, which is the first losing December in the Tom Brady era. If they lose to either the Bills or to the Jets, that's never happened before. They are 3-5 on the road this year, worst road record by the Patriots since 2009. They committed 14 penalties as a team for 106 yards. That was tied for the second most penalties by New England in any game of the Tom Brady era. The offense has scored 10 points or fewer in 3 games this season, most of any season in the Tom Brady era. They are 2-5 when rushing for fewer than 100 yards this season. They can't run the ball very consistently. Brady right now has his lowest passer rating in nearly 5 years, and this is the first loss by Tom Brady in a game in which New England allowed fewer than 20 points since 2014. This stat is also going to blow your mind. They had won 35 straight games in which they had held an opponent to under 20 points. So this all ties together. In conjunction with that, the Patriots got blown out by the Titans. They lost by a big margin to the Detroit Lions, and they got beaten by the Jacksonville Jaguars. This New England team is just okay. They're one of about 15 or 16 teams, if not more, that are just okay in the overall playoff race. And so I believe Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are done as a dynasty. I think this is the last year they are going to make the playoffs. I actually have already bet the Buffalo Bills this weekend in their game against the Patriots. I think it is going to be a close game, much closer than the 12.5-point margin. Here's the deal. Americans in particular, but I think humans in general, are way over predictive of believing that whatever has happened before is going to continue to happen forever. Okay? Everything eventually changes. And the run that the Patriots have been on is extraordinary. It's incredible. It may not be equaled in the modern era of the NFL ever again. Okay? But it is coming to a close. I think the Patriots are trending towards a first-round playoff exit, and I'm not sure they would win any other division in the AFC this year. They may well go 5-1 against the AFC East. I don't think they would win the AFC South. I don't think they would win, certainly, the AFC West, and I don't believe they would either win the AFC North as well. And if they did, they would do it as the overall worst team out there. So that is my belief on the New England Patriots. It's actually what the majority of you believe as well. The dynasty is finally coming to a close in New England. You know what isn't coming to a close? Derrick Henry's dominance. If you haven't been watching Derrick Henry the past 2 games, the Tennessee Titans are becoming a full football team, even with all the injuries they've had to deal with this year. Defense has given up 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. Derrick Henry, 238 last week, 170 this week. The most rushing yards in 2 games in the history of the Oilers-Titans franchise, breaking a record set by Earl Campbell. Derrick Henry is now running like Derrick Henry when he was on the Alabama Crimson Tide. He had over 30 carries against the Giants. By the way, where are all the Big Ten people at? What do you know? A Southern team played well in crappy December weather in the North. What do you know? The Titans took a Giants team that was 4-1 in their last 5, and they destroyed the Giants, all right? Physically dominated them, just like they physically dominated the Jags. I think the Titans are going to beat the Redskins this weekend. They are 10-point favorites on Saturday, that game. And out of that, they will roll into the game against the Indianapolis Colts. I think it'll get flexed to Sunday primetime. And in that game, the Titans will play the Colts in what is a default play-in game. Now, you want to talk, I'm going to get to the AFC playoff picture in a moment. You want to talk about how wild the AFC playoff picture is. There is a possibility that the Titans could still be the overall number 2 seed in the AFC. All right? Let me run through what would need to happen in order for that to occur. Titans win out, get to 10-6. Brady and the Patriots split and lose to either the Jets or to the Bills in their final 2. We get losses from the Steelers and from the Ravens. They're both fairly substantial underdogs on the road this weekend, both of those teams. I think they're both going to lose. I think the Ravens will lose to the Chargers, and I think the Steelers will lose to the Saints. Right now, it's a pick-em between the Texans and the Eagles. The Texans would need to lose that game, and then they would need to lose the game against the Jags the next week. If all of that happened, it's obviously a lot of different moving parts. I don't think most people have even realized this. The Titans would be the number 2 overall pick, all right? I'm going to block this guy. If you say something that is so stupid that I look at it and I think you are a total pussy, then you get blocked, all right? you are gone forever. And if I look at it and I think to myself, man, that is a total loser move, then you are gone forever and you are never allowed to comment again. So if you dive in there, and by the way, I don't know, they've got a lot of new situations here, and I got a lot of new controls where I can take control of this thing, and I'm actually having fun with this. And so that is a lot of fun to be able to run through. So it will be flexed. It will be the primetime game. And I think it'll be the 9-6 Colts against the 9-6 Titans. So as a result, I think we're headed for a really great, basically play-in game in advance. All right. And so we will be rolling at that scenario. Okay. The Titans, with Derrick Henry able to run, is a complete revelation in what they're able to accomplish from an offensive standpoint. All right, couple of other situations here. Yeah, we have a mute button now on Periscope. That means that you show up and nobody else is able to see you, I think. So I think that's the way the mute button works. You, much like on Twitter, are firing away and nobody else is able to see you but you. I believe there is a night game week 17. Yes, I believe there is a night game week 17. It seems that there will be. The reason why there was not a night game in week 17 last year was because that was New Year's Eve, and so they decided not to do it. So I think that is the play. I think it's going to be entertaining, and I think it's must watch. How about Baker Mania? I want to talk about Baker Mayfield for a minute. Saturday night, I don't know how many of you were watching this. I was at a Christmas party, and I was transfixed because I want to be able to watch. I want to be able to watch Baker Mayfield play. The Browns have become one of the most entertaining teams in the NFL this year. And so I jumped in and watched this game, and Gregg Williams, here's an amazing stat for you. Gregg Williams, who is the interim coach of the Cleveland Browns, is 4-2 in his last 6 games. In 6 games, he has won more games with the Cleveland Browns than Hue Jackson did in 40. Hue Jackson went 3-36-1. Now Gregg Williams has gone 4-2. I loved everything about this game because there were so many intriguing decisions to make down the stretch. Beginning with Vance Joseph's decision to kick the field goal to make it a 1-point game. I don't think you can do that if you are Vance Joseph. Although he almost got an opportunity to come back on the other side, I think you have to go for it there. I think it was a bad decision by Vance Joseph. On top of that, it's an incredibly difficult decision to make for Gregg Williams, whether to go for it on 4th and 1 and in the game or kick the field goal to go up 4. I think in general you have to kick the field goal there, but I loved the aggression of going for it on 4th and 1. Where they blew it was they got a team to jump off sides. They got the Broncos to jump off sides, and their offensive line didn't immediately react. And so as a result, it was a messy situation in general. But the Broncos gave up the ghost. I think that Vance Joseph is done, and I love everything that I am seeing from Baker Mayfield. He is phenomenal. Incredible. He should be the rookie of the year over Saquon Barkley. He has meant way more to the Browns than Saquon Barkley has meant to the Giants. And I think there's a decent chance, I agree with one of the commenters I just looked over and saw, that they are going to roll out and that they are going to be able to make a play down the stretch, potentially that is significant in the overall playoff landscape. Okay? I think he's going to be really good. I think after a long, long time in the wilderness that the Browns are excited to be able to say, we finally got a quarterback who everybody can go buy the jersey of. If that is going to happen, that will continue, and that will be a rollout of the highest order. All right, the AFC playoff race. Have you guys looked into the playoff race at all? The AFC is absolutely wild. Let me get on my soapbox here for a minute. I made this argument last week, but I'm going to continue to make this argument. It's stupid that division winners get automatic playoff games. The two best home playoff teams, the two best teams in the AFC so far this season, without question, have been the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. They should be competing for the number 1 and the number 2 seed right now in the AFC. You shouldn't reward somebody based on geography. This is my same thing about college football divisions. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the idea that just because you win a crappy division, you deserve to host a home playoff game. So I don't think we should be fighting right now between the Chiefs and the Chargers over who's going to be the 1 seed and who is going to be the 5 seed. Doesn't make any sense. I think that right now you should get seeded based on how your overall schedule goes. Take the best overall 6 teams, regardless of which division they are in, and slot them 1 to 6 and let the 4 best teams host home playoff games. Cuz, think about this for a minute. The Chargers could win out and go 13-3. If the Chargers win out and go 13-3, they should be the overall number 2 seed. They would lose the tiebreak to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's fine. Instead, they would fall all the way to the 5 seed, and they may have to go on the road again in Pittsburgh and have to play against the Steelers on the road, even though the Steelers might well finish 9-6-1 or even 8-7-1, win that division, and then as a result, it won't even matter that they lost head-to-head. I think it's an ugly situation. I think it's nonsensical. I think it, beyond a shadow of a doubt, makes no sense. It's the same thing that I have against college football divisions. It's a random geographic creation that makes no sense anyway. Why are the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC South? Only because the geography demanded it, not because they're remotely anywhere near the South in Indianapolis. And why are the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West, even though they're not very far or very far west at all? So I think that should be the setup. It should be the top 4 teams get a home playoff game. The 2 wild cards then go on the road. But right now we got the Chargers and the Chiefs battling for either the 1 or the 5. You know where they're going to be slotted in. 2 seed, there's a lot of different possibility. Right now the Texans are the 2, although I actually think they are going to lose this weekend against the Eagles. And honestly, they nearly lost against the Jets. I think the Texans are stumbling down the stretch. I'm not that sold on that franchise as being a legitimate threat. I think, honestly, the AFC is completely wide open. No result would surprise me at all as we come down the stretch. So, you got the Chargers and the Chiefs. You got the Texans in the 2, although they could fall all the way down to the 6. In the 3 spot right now, you've got the New England Patriots. In the 4, we've got the battle going on between the Steelers and the Ravens. Like I said, I think both of those teams will lose, and it will come down to whether the Ravens can beat the Browns and the Steelers can beat the Bengals. I expect the Steelers to win that division, but not to post that good of a record, and I expect the Ravens to end up outside of the playoffs. By the way, Lamar Jackson reminds me a lot of Vince Young. Comes in, year 1, rookie year, looks phenomenal, still can't throw the football, runs all over the place, makes a few plays, wins a lot of close games. I think before all is said and done, Lamar Jackson's going to be exposed. I think he's going to get injured. You can't run the ball as much as he is doing. I think that will start this weekend against the Chargers when the Chargers are able to beat them outright and give them a beatdown. No, he reminds me completely of Vince Young. Deshaun Watson can throw the football and always was able to throw the football. Lamar Jackson is a one-read-and-run guy. Except he's not as big, strong, or tough as Vince Young. Lamar Jackson is going to get broken in this league if he continues to run. It's just the way of the land. And I think everybody out there knows it. The Ravens got to develop him into a pocket passer. You can't make a living running the football at quarterback in this league. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. He will get broken. Like literally picked up, Bane did to Batman, and broken over the knee. That's what's going to happen to Lamar Jackson at some point in time. So I think that is going to, I think that's going to end up happening. That's the AFC playoff race. Again, I think it's going to come down to a flexed Sunday night game between the Titans and the Colts. Game taking place in Nashville. It'll be an electric environment. Should be pretty outstanding. I'm curious how Andrew Luck and co. will do leaving the Dome. By the way, Andrew Luck has beaten Tennessee 10 times in a row. This is next week's game. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. He's basically Nick Saban, the Tennessee Titans. He's done to the University of what Nick Saban has done to the University of Tennessee for much less attention. Sooner or later, he's going to lose a game. I think it will be on Sunday. I think the Colts will lose to the Titans. I think the Titans will get to 10-6, make the playoffs, and then we'll see how the seeding will break out. All right. That is the AFC playoff race. Any questions about the AFC playoff race from anyone out there, Facebook or anywhere else? Luck has dunked on the Titans. There's no way to deny it. Andrew Luck has owned the Titans like Nick Saban has owned the University of Tennessee. The Browns have absolutely no chance. The Browns have absolutely no chance to make the playoffs, but I do think next year that Baker Mayfield and the Browns are going to be on fire. It's going to be phenomenal. Sometimes, by the way, let me say this. People get focused on the numbers of how many people are watching. This show, over the course of a week, we will clip all these different segments and share it. We'll do 1 million viewers some weeks over the course of the show, combining all of these shows on Facebook and Periscope. One thing that has happened is after Facebook got in trouble with the way that they counted viewership, the numbers have continued to adjust on a day-to-day basis. So they have altered the way that they count viewers. So over the past couple of years, the numbers have changed. What has not changed is this. This is the biggest daily sports show in the country. And it continues to be, no matter what any other metrics are, that airs on Facebook and on Periscope. Now, also, I hope you guys are listening on the radio show. We're up over 50% last year, this year, in the radio show, which is unheard of. The radio show is absolutely dominant in many markets across the country now. We're on in all 50 states, 300 plus stations, on our way to 400. On top of that, so this thing is just exploding. And starting in the new year, if you're watching this and you're paying attention, we're going to start to put clips of advertising videos embedded into all of this, which is, I think, going to just take it to another level in terms of the business impact of how everything can be taken into account. I don't really concern myself with the day-to-day numbers. So I tend to block anybody who gets fired up and they're like, oh, what's this number compared to last week or this week or whatever else. All I look at is the long-term trajectory. And the long-term trajectory is massive growth. So just because everybody knows kind of what's going on, that is where we are headed, all right? And it's really a pretty phenomenal place. But I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. All right, pick for tonight, and then I'll discuss the Senate race. My pick tonight, I am on the Saints -6, and I'm on the under 50. It's now up to 50.5, I'm told. The Saints -6 and the under 50.5. That is where we are headed. The Saints -6 and the under 50.5. All right. Today, I don't know how many of you saw this, but Lamar Alexander announced he was not running in 2020 for the Tennessee Senate, meaning there will be no incumbent running in almost 2 years. I asked my wife if she'll let us run. She has not said yes yet. It's possible that in 2 years I will decide to run. It's an open Senate seat. If I decide that I have dominated as much in radio as I can, if I decide that I've gotten as far in television as I want to go, there is a legitimate possibility that I may decide to run for the Senate from the state of Tennessee. So I think it would be an incredibly fun campaign. I think I could win. I don't think there are any easy candidates out there unless Peyton Manning decides he wants to run, in which case he would win by popular acclamation, and there would be no point in anybody else running, no matter what political opinions you had. But what I've got to decide, one, my wife has to say yes. She said no to running in the most recent election. And two, I've got to decide what's going on in the larger universe. Can I afford to do it with 3 young kids? I got a good thing going. I'm making a lot of money. I got one of the best jobs in America right now. So I have to look at it financially and see whether or not it is financially feasible to suddenly start making $160,000 a year or whatever a senator makes. Frankly, that's my wife's shoe budget. And so I'd have to get her to rein in the shoe spending and the dress spending and all the gym memberships that we're paying for and everything else. So that is something I have to think about. We're 2 years out. It's a long way away. In the meantime, I'm hopeful that Tennessee will license a sports gambling bill. I'm going to be pushing for that. You guys know that I came out in favor of the legalization of weed in the state of Tennessee. There are lots of things that I would be very interested in pushing for from both a federal and state basis in the meantime, and that is what I am pushing in that direction. So those are all my thoughts. Yes, and if I did do it, I would do live Periscope and live Facebook every day. I would run a campaign that embraced new media. I would let everybody have a window in on basically everything we were doing all day long. I try to be as transparent as possible. There isn't very much that I don't come out and say directly. I try to have as little of a difference between what I would say privately and what I would say publicly. So I would just open up Periscope and Facebook and do a fun, rollicking statewide campaign throughout the campaign. And look, I don't have to decide until 2020, but I'm legitimately going to consider it as well. I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis. Going to be on Outkick. I will be on Lock It In about an hour. FS1, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 2:30 Mountain, 1:30 Pacific. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. This show will continue all week long. We'll have a lot of fun tomorrow. I'll break down the NFC playoff picture tomorrow, as well as give you my top 5, bottom 5, and let everybody know what is coming in the universe of sports and beyond. We'll also be live tomorrow, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. If you don't watch or listen to the radio show now, Charles Davis, Mark Schlereth, and Petros Papadakis will join us on the Tuesday edition of Outkick the Coverage, as they always do, and we'll be ready to break down whatever happens in the Panthers against the Saints. But again, once more, I'm on the Saints -6 and the under 50.5. DBAP boys and girls, my name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the show. Kisses. SBAP, unless you need the DBAP. I'll see you guys.